Welcome. In front of me is a Oppo A54s, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. So anyway, let's just get started. Pop it open. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's basically all we get in a box. Now let's move over to the actual specs of the phone. So the display right here is a 6.5-inch display. It's only a 720p display, so more precisely 720 by 1600. It is a IPS LCD display with a typical brightness of 480 nits. It has also 82.9% screen to body ratio and 269 pixels per inch. So truth be told, the screen right here is a little bit underwhelming, but this device is more on a budget side, considering it costs below 200 euros or 150 pounds apparently. So this is catering towards like, I guess, a little bit at the end of the budget phones, and meaning like closer to the mid-range devices, because I would consider like 200 plus to be where I would start like looking at mid-range phones. This is like right out there, though I'm pretty sure when it comes down to like budget phones, Xiaomi has their devices which still come with 1080p display, so that's a little bit disappointing that this phone does not. Anyway, just quickly finish up the setup so I can move over to the cameras. And the cameras right here on the spec sheet, we're looking at a 50 megapixel wide sensor, a 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel depth. Now these sensors are, truth be told, well, two of them are probably going to be massively underwhelming just because they're sticker cameras, meaning they serve no purpose other than to make the phone look better by just having more cameras. Manufacturers have this stupid effing idea that consumers are dumb when they look at the back of the phone cameras and they're like, oh, 3 cameras, must be good. At below 200, yeah, no, it must be absolutely garbage when you include 3 cameras. So that's basically what we get right here. Now the reason I say this, 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth. Macro is just going to be an insult to call this a macro. And I'll give a comparison just to completely take a crap on this, because I absolutely uphold this kind of marketing. I despise this, and I have no problems completely taking a massive crap all over it. So here we go. We're gonna start off with macro. I can't even get too close because it loses focus. Guess good enough, whatever. This is not gonna wow anybody. I'm not pretty sure, but I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna go into more again, and I'll go to, I believe it's going to be an expert. No. Yes, it has to be. I'm specifically looking for the full 50 megapixel shot, so I can do a 2 times zoom, which barely loses any focus. And retains way more quality from a photo rather than the 2 megapixel garbage sensor. And I can already tell you this is the case where this actually applies. So here we go. This is the 50 megapixel with a 2 times zoom. This is a fake plant, if you couldn't guess. You can get pretty decent results, though this is a 50 megapixel, the main sensor, the only one that you should be using. And if we now move over to this garbage, this is the macro shot. Now through the camera that I'm recording, it doesn't really look that much different, I think. Hopefully you can see the difference. There is a massive difference. This is way more blurry, so I'm saying I hope it is like you can see this on the camera, but this is way more blurry, less detailed compared to this. Way sharper, way more defined of a photo. And this can get closer than the macro shot, making the macro lens absolutely redundant, which you had to pay for. Now, just because I'm such an outstanding person, I'm just gonna give you a comparison to what you actually should be expecting from so-called macro. So here we go. Here's a Mate 20 Pro, which, to be fair, at this point, probably costs as much as this device if you buy this one used. It's not being sold on the market anymore because it's a 3-year-old phone. So yeah, here we go. There's going to be a great comparison. Now I do want to clean off that smearing. Let me quickly just wipe it off. Don't want to undersell my device. There we go. Good enough. I don't even need to try that hard to capture a great macro here, because let's be honest, there's no comparison. Like, yeah, let's actually get back to the macro here, just so you can see the insult that you're getting right here. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more. We're looking basically at the same portion of the shot, though this one is a blurry pile of shit, while this one is a absolutely insanely detailed shot. Now I think I am a little bit overexposed right here, so I will shake the camera, not by myself, but someone decided to slam the door, so give them for that. Okay, so I dimmed it out just so you can see it hopefully a little bit better, although it didn't really change much. But yeah, obviously there's no real comparison. You can basically see like every strand right here. There we go, it's coming to focus. So yeah, this is insane. This is an absolute pile of heaping garbage. Now actually let's not completely undersell this, so we're gonna look at the normal 50 megapixel shot, or downscaled 50. So this is just a normal photo, and it is a little bit blown out at the back. It's not supposed to look like this. The actual plant is kind of just dim, kind of way dimmer or way less bright than it actually appears to me, while the background here is a little bit too blown out. So even like the 50 megapixel isn't doing that great of a job. Anyway, let's move over. At the front we have 8 megapixel wide sensor, and with all of those, max resolution you can shoot front or back is 1080p 30 frames, nothing more, which again, kind of a shame. Now when it comes down to this phone's like internals, we have two different options. Both come with Helio G37, but we have either 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM alternatives, and both of them also come with 128 gigs of built-in storage. So kind of weird that with the higher RAM you don't get more storage. Now let's hope that we can expand the storage using an SD card. Now I am pretty confident that we can, and yep, we can. So we have two different SIM cards and one SD card tray, so we can pop like a terabyte, half a terabyte probably of SD card. So at the end of the day, if you're buying this device, even though I don't think I would recommend it, it's a little bit hard to recommend considering it's a little bit too expensive for what it offers. It's not good at photos, and clearly I think most of the budget went into the 50 megapixel sensor, which is higher than it is normally in a budget devices. It's not good in display section because it has a 720p display on a 6.5 inch screen. It's not high refresh rate. So processor is also nothing to be proud about here. The only thing I guess good here is the The battery, which is a 5000 milliamp hour battery, should last you a really decent amount, and the charger right here is, if I can actually see this, it looks like it is a 10-watt charger. At least that's the only marking that I can see. It's visible second last. So yeah, it says 10 watts. So the charger is mediocre. Battery is huge, but charging speed will not be anything impressive right here. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is honestly a little bit of an underwhelming device, costing almost 200 euros. It really underperforms on almost every kind of aspect right here, even for a device at this price range, which is a budget phone. In this case, this in my opinion is a little bit overpriced, because similar devices in terms of performance probably will be more like 150 euros. So in a budget world, 50 difference of 50 euros is massive, and here you don't really get much for it. You pay, like I said, you pay for the cameras, but the cameras are just meh, and it's basically all I can say. But anyway, if you still thinking about picking this device up, I could recommend one little thing, which is picking up the 8GB version, 8GB of RAM, instead of the 4. 4, in my opinion, I believe will be a little bit too low for usage, comfortable usage of your phone nowadays, and 8GB will be too much, but it will at least give you some headroom for later, and the device should be able to just keep up with apps that are just a little bit more RAM intensive, letting you run more apps in the background and switch between them quicker without any kind of wait time. The processor here isn't anything mind-blowing, so having apps still run in the background, consuming that RAM, is more of a beneficial kind of thing, allowing you to just switch between them quicker and have less time wasted. That's the only reason why I recommend going for the 8GB of RAM. And additionally, it's not like you can upgrade it later on, while storage you can. So anyway, this would basically conclude this video, and if you found it in any way, shape or form informative, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.